Discover Sherille Marquez's journey of self-love and empowerment after divorce. Learn to celebrate your true self and build a fulfilling life post-divorce in episode 108.
Empirical science, and also a lot of personal experience, because as manifesting generators with our human design, we're all about experimenting and, making mistakes so that we can lead others through that journey and tell them, I've tried this, don't do that. I went here, don't go there. I've had many experiences in my life. So the other thing too is that I am also not just interviewing women who are thought leaders, experts, but also men, because men who are doing the work, they have a perspective. I love to learn from everyone's journey. I love to learn from them. And I've had some amazing male guests that it just has really been such a light and illuminating a path for other men.
Welcome to another episode of Healing Through Love. Each week, we share ideas, experiences, and resources to increase the awareness of domestic and family violence and to empower survivors to grow and thrive. We talk with experts who share their advice, or with people who have experienced abuse, no matter where they are on their journey. This is all about healing through love. And now, here are your hosts, Sharlene Lynch and Rose Davidson.
Hello and welcome to the Healing Through Love podcast, the space where stories of strength, resilience and transformation unfold. I'm your host, Sharlene Lynch, and I'm honoured to be your guide here for this journey of empowerment and healing. Today, we have a very special episode tailored specifically for you, whether you're driving the car or sipping a cup of tea or simply taking a moment for yourself. I want you to know that you're in a safe place. Healing Through Love is more than a podcast. It's a community, a beacon of hope, a reminder that you are not alone. In this episode, we have a guest who will share her story that resonates with the core of our mission, a story that illuminates the power of love, resilience, and unwavering strength that lies within each of us. So settle in, take a deep breath, and let the healing begin. Before we dive into this inspiring narrative, a quick reminder that if you find value in our episodes, please continue to support us by subscribing and sharing and leaving a review. Your engagement helps us reach the hearts of more people. Today, I've got a very special guest, Sherille Marquez, a thought leader and author and founder. She guides divorced women through transformational change, drawing inspiration from her own journey of overcoming a devastating divorce while raising two boys. I love it. Despite consulting with her 3 therapists, a critical element was missing, propelling Sherille into years of self-study and self-development. Hello, Sherille. It's so great to have you here today.
Sharlene, it's my honor. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's such a privilege to have you here on Healing Through Love. Now, obviously, you've got a backstory. That is the reason why you're now sharing this amazing course, which runs for 12 weeks. And we'll dive into that a little bit later. But before we get there, would you please share with us your story that got you where you are?
Absolutely. Well, it started actually, my journey started when my son was diagnosed with cancer when he was 3 years old. And I was 6 months pregnant at the same time. So that started my journey into becoming more aware, holistic, mind-body practices. And so I thought that I had gone through the worst, being a mom with a sick child with cancer and being 6 months pregnant at the same time. Well, I was wrong. Fast forward to several years later, I discovered that my husband of 13 years was having an affair. And that's when my personal transformation began. I was very, very lost, broken, even though, we're not really broken. We're just absolutely lost. But I was very afraid. I had gained 28 pounds in 8 months. I did not know what was going on with me mentally, emotionally. I didn't even know what depression felt like because I'm a happy person. I didn't even know what that felt like. And in hindsight, all of those things, they were happening to me psychologically, physically. And so I spent, like I had said, self-study, trial, error, up until I got to the point where I felt like my life started to settle down. The dust started to settle. I started to discover my own answers, and traditional therapy didn't work for me, unfortunately, but there's a time and a place for it. Just I needed more. And so when I felt like I was in a place where I had rebuilt myself, my life, and my children's lives, then I felt a calling to give back, to address the needs of divorced women struggling to connect with traditional therapy and, still feeling lost and uncertain. And here we are today.
Oh, I love it. That is a beautiful story. And how is your son?
He's well, thank God. 17 years remission now.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's beautiful to share. And this is an important topic to talk about, is divorce. Look, and more than 50% of the population get divorced, and it's not just men and women, it's same-sex couples. So it's everybody across the board. So yeah, so can you guide us through a little bit more information around this 12-week program that you offer? We'd love to dive in and find out more about that.
Absolutely. I'm very excited to share this. I actually just announced it yesterday. It's like birthing a baby. And so, I just birthed this baby. It's going to open August 2024. And what it is a 12-week immersive experience. And what I mean about immersive experience is that it's not just an evergreen program where it's self-paced modules. No, I actually am going to meet with the clients 6 times. So we have one-on-one sessions. We have weekly group coaching calls with me. We also have a human design expert, because if anyone knows anything about human design, it's basically your blueprint. What your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. And if you have this kind of a guide and you know how to use this blueprint, it's going to help you not just in your journey of self-discovery, but also to help you navigate life, period, and not make so many mistakes and not question yourself to where you're wondering, is this my intuition or is it my mind? And there's so many ways where we can be so confused, not just being distracted from what society is telling us to be, do, have. And for divorced women, we're already lost to begin with, because we don't know who we are after being in a relationship. That's certainly what happened with me, where I was having an identity crisis, because I didn't even know, Sharlene, what paint color I liked after I was divorced, because I was always part of a unit. I was married for 13 years and we were together before that. I was codependent. All of these things just came to surface after the fact. So back to the program. The program, like I had mentioned, is immersive, because I am guiding them along with the self-paced modules. There is a community of women on the same journey, and also expert human design. They get 2 sessions that's an hour and a half each throughout the 12 weeks, and it is guiding them through the course of self-discovery, through the course of even designing their own space, letting go of emotional clutter and debris, and guiding them to the point where we talk about their finances and how to feel empowered and how to get out of survival mode, to a place where they are excited about life, and they finally, for once, they know who they are and they're standing in their own power.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, there's so much in that. Let's break that down. So first of all, let's have a conversation in and around human design and the part that it plays in people understanding who they are and how they best to turn up, especially if they're disconnected from their identity. So let's talk a little bit about human design. What's your background in that, and what's your thoughts about human design?
I absolutely love human design. And while I know enough, I would not call myself an expert, which is why I have brought on an expert, a human design expert, specifically for my academy, She Thrives Academy. Essentially, what it is a blend of science and spirituality, all wrapped up into one. So it's not like, for me, there is a little bit of woo woo, but I need the science, I need the facts behind it. It's not just astrology. I mean, these are measurable, tangible things. It incorporates, I believe, like the, qigong and several different principles, Eastern philosophies, all combined. And so, what I love about it is that it's like a thumbprint. You have your own unique thumbprint. You have your own unique human design. And based on your chart, based on your profile, it will tell you, just like a roadmap of who you are, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. And it is up to you to use it, leverage it. Hopefully, that's what people are using it for, to get to know yourself, to understand yourself, and also to see yourself from a different view where you could realize how you're showing up in the world, because awareness is the first key to change.
I love that. I love that. So I'm a manifested generator, and there's some guidelines that we get as to how we need to turn up. And it's really interesting. Before I became aware of what my, what I was and how I turn up in the world, I was working against what was going to make me happy, and it turns up in a level of frustration. It turns up in a hard grind. It turns up in feeling like you're always doing the heavy lifting. And when you have a better understanding of what your human design is, you can be in flow. You can just turn up and be paid just to be you. And so I love human design and the difference that it's made in my life. It's amazing. Now, I want to unpack. So I'm a recovered hoarder. So I just love the whole idea about clearing the clutter for clarity, and how that changes your frequency, and how that allows you to shift into more and do more, have more, be more, share more, all of those things. And by understanding that your clutter is actually teaching you and holding you in these frequencies that doesn't allow you to expand. So I really get the conversation in and around clutter. And now we have active things that we do on a weekly, monthly basis to just declutter. It'd be great that it never arrived in the first place. Yes, Anne, I don't know, things start turning up and we don't sort things as we could. Just recently I did my linen press. Now my linen press looks like Instagram, just saying. I'm very excited. And it's great. I got rid of 50% of the stuff that was in the linen press. And the difference is I know exactly where everything is. And on every level, it just feels amazing to be that level of organized. It just allows you to turn up, and you're supported by the systems and the things that are around you, and you're not looking for things. I don't know, but beforehand, before I got to this level of organized, I spent most of my life just looking for things. On every level. So I love it. Well, this is great. I love this. So this is the 12-week program, and this is the She Thrives Academy that helps girls transition from that space of recovering from the divorce to stepping into the new power of what's possible for them in their lives, and leaning into understanding their identity, who they are, how they show up, and finding life purpose, because that might have been lost in the translation through the divorce, and so they can lean into that new version of what's possible for them. I love it. Now, you also have a podcast as well, so just tell us a little bit about the podcast.
First of all, Sharlene, thank you so much for really having a beautiful understanding of what the immersive experience is with the Academy. And I'm so grateful that you and I have so much in alignment. I'm also a manifesting generator. I love how you understand that, the vibration and clearing your space, how critical it is. If you can imagine, divorced women might be holding on to so much of the past and wondering why they're stuck. And it's anchoring just having these things around still. So I just want to, commend you and thank you so much for, just having such a great just overview about that whole thing. So let's talk about the podcast. It gets better from here literally means it gets better from here. And it is another resource for divorced women and single moms like myself, because when I was going through this, like I had mentioned, it took me years to pull things together. So it's a combination of spiritual wisdom, empirical science, and also a lot of personal experience, because as manifesting generators with our human design, we're all about experimenting and, making mistakes so that we can lead others through that journey and tell them, I've tried this, don't do that. I went here, don't go there. I've had many experiences in my life. So the other thing too is that I am also not just interviewing women who are thought leaders, experts, but also men, because men who are doing the work, they have a perspective. I love to learn from everyone's journey. I love to learn from them. And I've had some amazing male guests that it just has really been such a light and illuminating a path for other men. And also, I have sons. I'm the mom and the dad as a single mom, and I want them to hear this audio diary. This is another reason why it was, such an important thing for me to release a podcast. And I have so much respect for podcasters because there is a lot of work behind having a podcast. Oh my gosh. I thought I was just gonna script it, hit record, upload it. That is probably 10% of what actually happens. So major props to all the podcasters. And I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to be here with you today.
I love it. I love it on every level. So we've been running our podcast since 2018. And initially, our podcast started as cause marketing for those practitioners, so those wellness practitioners that came and held the space for us for our pamper days. So think day spa on steroids. So that's what we organise, where we've got survivors of family and domestic violence coming along to experience a head massage, their hair done, makeup done, a facial, hand massage, neck and shoulder massage, their Reiki, their bars, like whatever healing modality you think you can come up with. We have one of those practitioners in the room and they come there for the day and it's all for free. We usually have a little op shop as well, so they can pick up, I don't know, an outfit they can wear to perhaps maybe to the courts if they're still in that process of going through the divorce. All of the things that they need, and it's just amazing. So these women do this for the day for free because their lives have been impacted by family and domestic violence, and they want to pay it forward with their level of expertise. And what that does is it creates a community where these survivors come and they see what's possible. And we have on many occasions a survivor come back the following year or following years and actually be an exhibitor because they've kept the proximity of the women that are there to hold the space. So it's very powerful. We run them here in Adelaide, and right now, and this is a great opportunity, a great segue to have a conversation, that we're offering this globally. So we're running a masterclass where we're teaching people how to run these in their own community. It's a free service. We're doing this because both Rose and I, so Rose is the president of Healing Through Love and I'm the vice president, we understand that this is bigger than us, and we're here to teach people how they can run these in their local community and make that impact to help others. And we know collectively that we can raise the frequency of the planet by helping survivors shift into a new power of what's possible for them, and also linking arms with the other wellness practitioners of what's possible and moving forward. And on every level, we love the podcast. Yes, and there's so much work to do behind the scenes, but I'm blessed. I just get to turn up and have a conversation. And the beautiful Rose, who's a professional podcast producer, she produces everything. So I basically turn up, have the conversations, and I don't do anything else. She does everything else behind the scenes. So if you're listening today and you'd like to run your own podcast, please reach out to Rose Davidson because she's amazing. It's nice when you can just turn up and do the thing that you do well. So I like to talk. I'm a bit of a chatter, but doing the tech stuff, not my cup of tea. So I love that. I love that. So if you are listening today and you really love what you're listening to, please lean in and ask Sherille more questions in and around how you can connect with her about the 12-week program, which is going live in August. So you've got time to reach out and connect to her. Where's the best place for people to contact you?
Thank you so much for asking, Sharlene. Instagram is one of my, or the platform that I'm most active in. That's at Sherille Marquez. And also just to note, I'm only accepting 10 clients per month because it is such a personalized experience. I have extremely limited space, and they have to go through an application process.
I love it. I love it. I love that you can put your hand up for the program, but you still have to be selected. because
Right.
the bottom line is you want to make sure that you're in the right proximity. And, it might not be a fit for you, and there might be other options that are better off for you. And Cheryl has other online courses that you could do if you're not at that right place to actually extend forward and move forward. So that's great as well. I love it. Okay, so the best place to contact you is on Instagram. I love that. I'd love to know, for women out there who are in that space, look, they might still be married, but thinking maybe divorce might be the answer they're looking for, or they might be just freshly out of a marriage. What's some words of wisdom that you can share with these ladies today?
I'd have to say that if you are in a relationship or you are fresh out of a relationship, you have to get to know who you are. That's the only way that you can show up in the best way for yourself and for other people. And if your relationship has expired, knowing yourself, your values, who you are, your boundaries is really going to tell you the truth, whether or not this is for you, or you are needing maybe just a little bit more work. Because who gets married or who enters a relationship thinking that they're going to get a divorce? I certainly didn't. I thought that was my happily ever after. But one thing, ladies, happily ever after, forever, it will end at some point in time if it no longer works. And I come from a very traditional background of being Filipino, and we don't believe in divorce. So culturally, it was a very tough decision for me to make. But in order for me to be the best mom I could be, I knew for a fact this was the only way. I'm not going to allow my mind, my emotions to be elsewhere and not present with my children. Thinking, oh, is he really at work? Is he really being true to me? Why is he on his phone a little too long? Why is he taking a shower? I was not going to do that to myself, especially not my children.
So important. So I'm curious, having this heightened level of awareness around who it is that we are and our boundaries and our values. Do you think this is something that we need to be having conversations with kids at school?
Absolutely. And, unfortunately, our school system is such an old model. If you were in a cryo chamber or frozen in time and woke up, and 150 years ago and woke up, that's probably the only thing that's still the same. Rote memorization, the classroom's the same, just like what we're being taught in the school system is really not, for the most part, not setting up our children for the future. Geometry is great, but are you going to really apply that? What about some being mindful? What about being a good human being? What about, financial literacy?
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
just so, I'm so passionate about this, if you can tell, Sharlene, because it's just, we don't have enough conversations, and we wonder why mental health is the way that it is right now. And it's very sad, especially for, because I have sons, men, it just goes undiagnosed with so many. And I think the statistic is when you're in your 40s, that's when suicide is even more heightened. And it's just a scary place to be. So if we could just start from our youth, because you might already know this because you're such a enlightened person, that programming begins from our mother's womb. That is epigenetics right there. In the third trimester in our mother's womb, we're already being shaped by our environment, because we're already developed up to that point. And then when you're until you're 7 years old, all the programming starts to happen. And I'm not going to get too much into the metaphysics, but it could not even be trauma from this lifetime. It could be ancestral trauma, because in our DNA, it keeps passing on. There's science behind that. There is trauma stored in our body from our all the way to our grandmother, our grandparents. So it's crazy.
I love it. I talk about this all the time, especially from stage as a professional speaker. But, when we can shift our patterns of behavior in this lifetime, if we can sort this out, our children won't have to. And the truth of the matter is that you heal 700 years of ancestry. So it's very, very powerful. And as mothers, as most of the people that you work with are parents, that, knowing that the work that you do internally for yourself when you're working here with Sherille is that, you know, you're undoing the patterns that might be passed down to your children. And how powerful is that? And how much you can stand in your own power now as a parent, knowing that you've broken those family patterns. I love it on every level. It's great. There's so much to learn here. So now, if this feels like a fit for you, make sure that you lean in. Now, how do they contact you? Is it just, do they have a link, or is it just reaching out through Instagram?
And no, Instagram. Also, I have a website. They can also email me, info@Sherille Marquez, and my website is also SherileMarquez.com.
I love it. All of these links will be in the show notes and also in the description as well as you're listening to this and watching this today, because it is a visual, but it's also auditory as well on different platforms. It's been a privilege and a pleasure to hold this space and have this beautiful conversation with you and unpack your 12-week program and also your podcast. And I love what it is that you do and the difference that you make. And many of our listeners are in this transition through divorce. And how beautiful is it that you can go through the academy and not have to do this by yourself? I love it. I love it. I love it. Have you got any closing words of wisdom today?
I would just love to leave all the listeners here today that no matter where you are in your journey, no matter how old you are, it really can get better from here. The choice is yours.
Oh, I love it. The best is yet to come. I love this. Thank you so much for your time. That's a goodbye from me and a goodbye from Sherille.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Healing Through Love. You can get further resources, see the show notes, or simply reach out to us via our website at htlaustralia.org. Thanks so much for joining us, and we look forward to your company next time on the Healing Through Love podcast.